Kharismind production.
Infinite ambition.
You ain't know about the skills I amassed. Utilize from the past, cause I'm the head of the class.
Well, this is the Infinite Ambition podcast. Recognize your limitless worth, damn it. Yeah. I can help it, man. I can help it. So today, this is a remote episode. I'm not in my studio, but I am at my house, just a different section of it. And remotely, I do mean remote. I am talking to a man who is actually in his hometown, my hometown, Trotwood, Ohio. So testing this out now, figuring out this whole recording on StreamYard. This is the Infinite Ambition podcast. Please recognize your limitless worth, damn it. We are here today talking. This is episode 31, by the way. This is a return guest. He's been on one of my earlier episodes back when it was just audio only on YouTube. Since then I had advanced to putting it on streaming platforms, putting it on Spotify and of course the YouTube channel. And now he is back. I'm here talking to my brother from another, good friend, best friend, longtime collaborator, fellow artist, producer, mixer, engineer, and now DJ. We're going to get into all that. He's doing things over in Dayton, Ohio, Trotwood, Ohio, where he currently resides, lifelong man of the people. This is Jaren, a.k.a. the Gemini, George. Some of y'all may recently come to know him as DJ Airside. We're going to get into where that came from, rocking the City of Gem podcast. I see you. We're going to talk about that too, because he has a couple shows over there that he's working on. So we're going to get into that. But yeah, man, let's get into the man of the hour, man. What's up?
Hey, what's up? What's good with you? Can you hear me good?
Yep, I hear you good. Is there a little bit of a delay? Do you notice like a second of delay?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, that's fine. That's what's to have been expected. It's not as bad as I feared that it may have been, like 2 or 3 seconds where it'd be like an awkward conversation, but that's fine though. If that's just how it is, that's just how it is. But yeah, this is fun though, man. I think this is the first one that I've done video, like a video chat style, and I plan to do more in the future of people that I'm not currently in the room with. It's kind of dope.
Right. Yeah. That's good. I see you starting your podcast back up.
Yeah, this is just one of many in the direction that I plan to go. I plan to do all of them from here on out video, whether it's in person or over chat or over the phone. Like they've all been over the phone and they've all been audio only, but now I'm trying to step it up more and more slowly whenever I have time to. So yeah, this is cool. So anybody that's heard any of the episodes in the past, episode that we have done before, we've gotten to our history, our musical history before. We spoke about what we've done together, your background. But for anybody who's listening or watching who may not have seen that episode or may not know about it, we're just going to get into that a little bit, just give a broad overview of what you've done in the past, what we've done together in the past. But I've talked a lot now. This is episodes about you. Let's go back to your history, man. When did you get your start in music or just in general in life, the earliest you can remember, and what got you started on the musical path?
Let's see. Earliest I can remember is music has always been a background ever since I've been born. So Dad had a whole bunch of records, and even when I was like a newborn or whatever, he would play the records loud, and my mom be like, "Hey, turn it down a little bit," and he was like, oh, he's all right. Now now it was like it was jammed into my brain, so now I had to just
plant the seeds early.
So right, so just for that, just being interested in the records. I got into like Prince. I was like basically into Prince and Stevie Wonder. Basically, that was the main two that that caught me at a age. Dad would usually play some jazz records too. He had some like old jazz, so jazz was always around in the house too. So
yeah, mine too.
Just at one time I seen this one Prince video and the song was called America, and
Okay.
it was one of my favorite Prince songs. And the story behind that is one day we were just sitting in the living room. Dad came from, I believe it was Elder Bierman's when they used to sell records. That was
Yeah, I
downtown
remember that.
by where. Yep. So he came home and he had a colorful record. Now this is after Purple Rain. So he bought the album. I mean, I knew I was in a print. This had the stamp on it, like for real.
Yeah.
He he brought home this colorful album, and it was called Around the World in a Day. And he put it on. I don't know why he did it, but he put it on side 2.
B-side?
And for like years, I've been thinking, yeah, well, yeah, he put on side 2. The first song on there was America. And like years, I've been thinking that was the start of the record. But when he put it on there, I instantly knew the drum pattern, and that's when my antennas went up, because there was a video of I Would Die for You of him live during the Purple Rain tour, and they played on MTV. My dad caught it and taped it.
Yeah.
So I would watch that like a lot. So there was this drum pattern that they break down into before they go to, because in the movie he would go to I Would Die for You and then go to Baby I'm a Star. Well, then there's a little breakdown in between the songs. Well, I was like, hold on, I know that drum pattern. So that drum pattern was playing, and I'm like, okay. And then the song is just it had me hooked. So then when the video came out for that, he matter of fact, the video was like what, 6, 7, 8 minutes long, and he was
he's one of the early ones on those long videos.
Yeah, he did the song, and then he jammed like after, and that was his James Brown showmanship. But what he did, like towards the end of the video, the drummer stopped, and everybody stopped except the horns, and he went up to the drums to start playing them, and I'm like, wow. So I'm like, wow, man, he played the drum. I didn't know he played the drums. I'm 4 or 5 years old looking at this.
Right.
So I always wanted to play the drums, and then the opportunity came like at my church when I went to church.
Okay.
I got to play. Me, Brian, and Steve, my brothers, would play the drums. We'd each take turns.
Yeah.
And like that started me wanting to play the drums and me getting into the drums. So the drums was like my my standard, or the instrument that I go to.
Yo, quick little side story you just reminded me of. I remember back when your mom took me, you, and Brian, I think Stevie was with us that day to go see the Power Team perform, that religious strength performance team. And before we went there, well, I don't know if it was before that day or the day she took us to go see a movie. I think it was the Santa Claus. But before we went to either the Power Team or the Santa Claus, one of those two outings. But before we went there, we stopped at the church. We went to it was a church service we went to first. I remember you saying,
No. I know what it
you remember? You asked about the drums. You said, I wanted to learn the drums.
I know what it was.
I remember
these are two different. These are two different incidents. I got a good memory.
Yeah,
because I know it took me, you, and Nick Pleasant.
That's right. Nick was there,
and my brother.
So was the day went to see the movie Brian, or the day went to the Power Team? Which one was it?
No, we went to see Power Team one day, and then there was another time that we went to a church. So we went to see Power Team.
But did we go stop at the church? We went to see the movie.
No. That was another day. Another day we went to a church, and then after the church, bowling. But I do remember what you're gonna say. Keep on.
But that was it, though. It was the part about the drums. You said like, I wonder if they'll let me play the drums. I think you went up there and played for a few minutes, or was that a different occasion?
No, I didn't. I didn't play. I was mad because the drummer was like horrible, and he was going off.
Now I remember. It's coming back to me.
Play the drums.
It's coming back to me now. Yeah. was a minute ago. It was kids too. So
But
that's why I
yeah,
was like, yeah, my early 20s was wild. Messed my memory up. Anyway,
so
go ahead.
I was playing drums for maybe at 10 since I was 10. So
Okay.
played drums in the church from
Remember first-
10 all the way up to I was like 18, 19.
All right. Yeah, first time I seen you playing like Get Down for Real was that studio session. My first time in the studio was at ICB, International College of Broadcasting. For those who never heard of it, that's where Jaren studied music. Yeah, you could talk about that, but we had a studio session in there. First time I ever got into a professional studio and recorded some bars. I called him back then. My first time recording for us. So for the first time, he did a production on the beat and he was playing the drums live. But yeah, man, when I remember we we both played the trumpet in school in fifth and sixth grade band. You want to get into that? How
Oh
you
yeah, that's
what got you into that? How your experience was with that?
that was just a little bit of that sort of play in where I learned to read music though. So I just got into the trumpet
Mm-hmm.
what fifth and sixth grade. Then I dropped it.
Yeah,
I actually should have stayed at it, but you know,
yeah, me
um,
too. I wish I would have stayed with it.
but I learned how to read music at that. So like the face and the every good boy deserves fudge or every good boy does fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you
Yep,
determine the what the notes are
yep. AGB.
on the measures and stuff. So I had to read it. So that's how I learned how to read music on that. So that was just a brief thing. But shouts out to ICB, what you said earlier about what you said earlier. Shout out to ICB. So
Yep. Yeah, a lot of good stuff came out of that school. Uh, you met somebody in that school too. You're still in contact with today. Who's still involved in the music game too, Mr. Griff.
yeah, big ups to my homeboy Griffin G Child. Yeah, met him there. And yeah, we had linked up for we linked up and clicked and like he showed me he showed me like lyricism, like
Okay.
got me into like real lyricism, and I was real musical, and like he was playing his songs but didn't have a bass line, and he'd be like, I remember the first day we linked up in the studio. It was he had ran studio time at Studio B at ICB.
All right.
So he was doing that. He and I think I ran into him and bought his CD because he had a CD he was pushing out. Was it weirdo
Midwestern.
weirdo music? No,
Oh, okay.
no. Midwestern Hemispheric Travels. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's
But
because
yeah, I bought that
you
from
told me about that CD. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you told me about that
So
CD.
so when he was heading down to because it's after class. He was heading down
Mhm.
to the studio B, and I rode with him. So apparently, I guess the people that scheduled that day, they didn't show up. So he decided. I mean, that's a fun time about it though. If you run that
Mhm.
and nobody shows up, then you grab that. So he did that, and he did something which is he had a little Boss DR5 drum machine,
Okay.
and he was just showing me some of his music.
Yeah.
So I went, he had the keyboard plugged up. So I went to the keyboard, looked up a bass line of what he was playing, and I just played the bass line. He's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's a bass line." It added it added a little bit more life to his music. So I showed him how bass line. There's a bass is backbone of bass
Yeah.
is the backbone of the song. So
Right.
and I learned like notes and music also going back to church. Like my mother,
Mm-hmm.
she was assistant choir director.
Oh,
So
I didn't
we
know
knew
that.
harmonies and melody. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
We knew harmonies and understood melodies and stuff. And so once I did that, um, that's how we just linked up and the rest is history. We just started being cool. Like outside of music too was,
Yeah.
he liked basketball, I like basketball, we like sports, and some like
Yeah.
movies like Fear of a Black Hat. Remember Fear of a Black Hat, right? Yeah,
Yeah, man.
he's so called it have to be one of his favorite movies too, and so that's how we linked up.
I remember when I first saw that movie. Like I was watching TV late at night and it came on. I watched it. I think I started watching it like somewhere near the middle to the end. I'm like, what is this? This is silly. This is funny. I couldn't stop watching that. I caught the references they was spoofing in that movie, and I think it was a while before I actually saw it the whole way through. But I remember telling you about it. I was trying to explain it to you. It was so funny. And then every time I saw it after that, I just thought it was the funniest thing in the world for a while. But yeah, that's funny about. Yeah, I first met Griff. It was one of the studio sessions there, and he was in there working the boards. And I think he had wrote something. I don't know if he wrote then, but he recorded something on. I don't know what we do. Do we do first, the Wood or the Thunder? One of those two songs. But I can hear his influence. Like he had like a Andre 3000's kind of influence a little bit in his style that back then that I noticed. And he's more of a cleaner rapper. And evolved more into the religious side as far as like the Christian rap, which I love. His CDs, his music is amazing. Shout out to the Moonbase Chronicles series. But we did some stuff there. I don't even know if you still have that CD that we recorded the Thunder and the Wood on. Do you still have those? Probably all scratched up or something.
I gotta dig. I gotta do some digging.
Like 99, 2000, somewhere around there we recorded. I don't remember. I think it was like 2000. Damn, it was 2001. But that was the first thing I ever recorded on wax as far as like putting something down. And I mean, of course, both of us, we've gotten 10 times better since then. Our writing, production, mixing, everything, because we've learned so much over time and just been practicing over time, putting out multiple projects nonstop all the time over the years. But something I wanted to get at I remember as a kid, like we used to go to each other's houses a lot because we lived around the corner from each other, so to speak. And first time that little side room that your dad had in the house, he had like all that equipment in there. I thought it was like a whole recording studio. Maybe it was. I don't know. First time I seen all that stuff in there, I thought he had like a whole radio station stuff in there. And
it was.
Kareem used to show me like you see all the crates of vinyls lined up in there. I'm like, man, my mom got the same type of stuff, crates and vinyls and collection of vinyls and stuff. And I knew that's when I knew man, this dude's a real musical dude. He really into this stuff. It's like I seen all that equipment in that side room, and I was thinking like he had like a whole radio station / musical studio set up back in there back then, because that was my first time seeing all that in one room, and me just being ignorant to how setups really are. I thought that's what was going on, so I was like kind of mesmerized and excited by that, wondering like. Then I saw all the vinyls and all the crates and all the vinyls. I'm like, man, my mom's and grandma and them, they got crates and vinyls too. So that excited me, like, okay, this is a real musical dude. He really knows about his stuff. So I was wondering, like, what kind of setup was he doing back then? Like, was he broadcasting music? Was he just playing music? Or what was going on?
No, that's funny though. It's so many devices. Oh, nah,
yeah,
nah. He was doing a ham radio.
Speakers under speakers, and like, okay.
Yeah, he was doing ham radio. So it was just communication basically. So but he had records and stuff. He had to set up a record and he had like a couple microphones for that. But he had he did have turntables, and he had like big he just had a turntable, a single record, and big speakers, and a good enough system. So
yeah,
like
so did you
hear I'm sorry.
No, so go ahead.
When I would hear like songs like because see that area, it had like acoustic in it too. Like this past, I think it was 2 years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I went and seen War, but that's one of the records that he would play. That it would go well with acoustics in that room, because my dad had a wooden floor, because he made that he cut off half of the garage and made a rec room into it. And so when like War songs come in there, it just like it sound very perfect in there. You can hear the acoustics of that music in that room. So it sounded real good.
That was funny. We know It's crazy. We've known each other over 30 years. I still ain't never seen that garage. I don't know why. Just never seen that garage. It's weird.
You've
That's
been
funny.
in there. You've been in there.
I have? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I've been in that room.
You're
Not the
talking about the
garage. The garage.
Yeah, you've been in the rec room. Oh, the garage. Okay. Yeah, garage. Garage is small, so it wasn't nothing in there. But tools.
Did you? So he's
freezer.
So I remember he's doing like you had projects at ICB as far as like what you study in the school, and yeah, the finals was recording projects you did. Did you after that, did you ever put out like a full album or mixtape or EP after that? Because I remember that was around the time I was in the military, and I came home a couple of times. But then after that, I went on my own path in life in Hawaii doing stuff and cruise line and all that. But did you? I think I remember you saying you just put out an album and you put it out locally, like hand to hand or CDs. Did you have any projects that came out? And if you did, how did you play it? How did you release it? And what kind of reception did it get? And would it be still available if somebody was looking for it today?
What the thing was they just teach us the recording session, and it was a minute when I went to that school. So basically, Pro Tools was about to set in when I graduated.
Okay.
So we just learned like a basic Pro Tools thing, how to record and we didn't get deep into it like they have it now. So, but my project was to mix a song or mixer like it was a rock record, and my professor, I would say professor, but teacher, professor, whatever. I think his name was Dole. He listened to it and he was like, man, that's really good. He was like, man, you got a good ear. And I would do stuff like when I would record, when I get my studio sessions, because I did like we did put out like a little album. It didn't do well. Like it didn't do well as far as selling, because I had to learn it ain't like it is today, like you could put in, because there's no platforms to put it out on,
Right.
Yeah.
Back then, all hand in hand.
But there were things that I would do, like there were things that I would do, and he would hear stuff like, the teacher would hear stuff like, how'd you get the snare to sound like that? When I would just took the one of the mics had like a mic cover, and I would just fold it up and put it under the snare to where because a snare drum, there's like beads on the bottom. That's what make that sound. Because if you take it off, it's just going to sound like another tom. So the beads are pressed up against it, but it was loose. So once I put the cover under there, that makes it more a tight sound. So he would say stuff like that. He would ask about that, but I put like,
you figure out how to find certain high frequencies, certain low frequencies that you can't get from other drums. Figure out all the different intricacies and different tricks you can get from creating sounds.
Right. So I put
I feel like I can nerd out
small
all day for hours.
But I put out an EP out. So
okay. What was the name of it?
Just 6181. I think 6181.
It's kind of choppy right now. Okay.
It was most of it was done live, because I wasn't a drum machine person. Like, I had to learn it along the way. So, but I used most live instruments. So it was a learning experience.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Everybody's first project is definitely more a learning experience than anything else. And no matter whether you're doing it yourself independently or somebody else is doing it, whether you're funding yourself, whether you have a financier, whether it's on a label or not a label, it's always 100% learning experience. And knocking you out the park on the first time is like hitting a lottery. Most people do not. Some do. Those are the ones we hear about the most, and it makes it sound like it's easy that everybody can do it, which it is not. Most people, it's all a lot of trial and error. Not always just the first project, but a lot of times it's your first, second, third, and fourth project. It just depends on how well you pick it up. Sometimes if you happen to catch lightning in a bottle, that time. So, but what's most important is that you're learning and having fun in the process, and that's what makes making music beautiful, is that you never stop learning, and it's infinite things that you can do with all types of genres, no matter what it is. If I was Nori, I say let's take a shot to that.
I don't have no drink.
This is just coffee.
Yeah.
This is just coffee. Coffee. But are you still like, who did you work with? Are you still kind of in contact with anybody from that school other than Griff? Did you continue to do anything with anybody outside of that, as far as on the music side?
I'm still in contact with Griff, and it's another guy that I matter of fact, it was a couple of people, but they were underclass though. They were like they came out after me, but I didn't know till
Okay.
later on when I met him. There was this one guy, he was in my class. He was from LA. And at that time I loved West Coast music. I was a West Coast person. So, and then when he came out,
Still do.
he came all the way from LA to go to ICB. He was like, man,
Wow.
you don't sound like, he's like, you don't sound like you from here. He's like, man, you sound like you from LA. And when I start, because I was the time period, let's see. It was Corrupt, East Siders,
Yep.
Exhibit, and all that
Yeah.
came out. And once I start naming some stuff, like, man, I knew about the culture a little bit out there, because they had like Julio G and all that. And when I mentioned Julio G, he was like, man, he was like, for real, like West Side Radio and all that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
So, but
He was
his
West
name
Coast
is
fan.
Levon. Shout out to Levon Hunter. His rap name was React, but he reminded me of Corrupt a little bit, the way he was spitting too.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I love the way he was rhyming. But
So,
there's other people I knew about, like I think Cooley the Curator went later, and then I had some other friends. But people in my class that I came out with, the only person that I knew was Griff. And I still get in contact with one of the professors. His name is we'll talk later about him, but his name is 3J the DJ. So he was a professor.
oh yeah.
He's a teacher at ICB too. So
We're gonna jump into that real soon. And yeah, I know over time, like I've spoken about it in many podcast episodes before, in the one we did before, and through a lot of my music that we've collabed on a bunch of stuff on a lot of my numerous projects we've put out, whether it been just production or song features back and forth. I think you've been on all my albums, at least one or two songs, and we did an EP together, the Gem City Chronicles Volume 1. I mean, from Ram Country Chronicles Volume 1, which we spoke about before. I think it was on your show we did, or that one episode we did on my show a while back. If you want to know that detailed story, you guys just got to go back and listen to it, because that's a long story. It's long, a lot of fun stuff we did. But I'm jumping ahead because those names you mentioned, those names you mentioned tie into what I see big on your screen right now, what you're rocking right now, the City of Gem podcast. We all know there's hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there. Podcasting has been a thing since the mid 2000s, started really booming in the later 2010s, 11s, and 12s. But everybody strives to make theirs stand out from the crowd in whatever genre there is. Even if you're not on a specific genre, you want to kind of get attention a certain way. So what kind of made you want to start yours? Because I know it's not just City of Gem. You also have some sub shows that are in there. You got the Digging in the Craze, the Artist Spotlight. You can speak about them more than I can. But I just wanted to bring that up because that's interesting. I just wanted to know if you're still doing those and how you're doing them, what kind of platforms you're putting them out on, what's your purpose. I just wanted to get into detail about your shows. So how you want to talk about those?
okay. The podcast I get is let me start by saying big up to Black Friday, Jamal Sadler, Black Friday. What's up, man? Big ups to him. He called me one day. This is out the blue. Like I've known him ever since '99. This is even before ICB. I used to meet up with Andre Kendricks from He graduated from Trotwood too. Shout out to Andre Kendricks, and shout out to Greg. Call him Kane.
Yeah.
Greg, but
Shout
shout
out
out
to
to Greg.
Greg.
Greg Martin. We all used to meet up at Andre's house and watch Rap City, and smoke some of that
Rap,
good herb,
rap.
some of that
Dessert.
good stuff, and
Dessert.
listen to music and all that. So, but over the years, we've stuff happened, and we all parted. Say it wasn't no beef or nothing. No, just parted. Things happen, and
Yeah,
he moved
life.
to Detroit or Grand Rapids. Oh, no, was it Grand Rapids? No, Dearborn. He moved to Dearborn. I think it was Dearborn.
Okay.
Because I met up with him one day when I went up to Detroit to see Ice Cube, DJ Quick, and NWA at Shane Park. It was Shane Park. Now it's Aretha Franklin. But yeah,
Nice.
and the day of that next day, we met up and went to he drove me through the red zone in Detroit, which is the rough the rough area of Detroit. I think it's like the east part of it.
Oh, he took it to the gutter.
But,
Okay.
Yeah. he said the police don't come here. You call the police, he don't come here. I'm like, dang. But yeah, he had to go because he had at that time he had a green, or what do you say? He had his medical card. I'm sorry, I was about to say green card. He had a medical card. And
Okay.
he went to the dispensary. So, but we met up with him and went back, and then he had moved down here for a minute, and he called me out the blue. He said, "Hey man, you want to do a podcast?" I was like, "Man, let me think about it." I'm like, "Man, forget that." I'm like, "Let's go. Let me just jump into it, man." Like
Yeah.
it was something about podcasts that you, especially if it was about music and stuff. The
Yep.
topics was around music and
It's a subject that we feel like we can
stuff
talk
and
for hours and hours. Yeah.
yeah. Because that's what we would all link up on,
Right.
behind music and stuff. So
Yeah.
so when we did that, we did like a couple episodes, and
Yeah.
then I guess he was there was some things that he was doing, what I'm saying? So it was we had to get our schedules lined up, what I'm saying, and things didn't fall through like they should have, or things didn't fall through,
Yeah.
due to whatever. But instead of I didn't want to take over the podcast. I don't want to be like, hey, let me do it myself, because I do believe in partnership, and what I'm saying, if you shouldn't do it without that person, what I'm saying, then
Right.
I didn't know what to do. So I said, let me do my own podcast. So I started my own podcast.
Yeah.
And basically I wanted it to, because I'm really into music, and I started out with what was it? There was one show I do, it's called Digging in the Crates. And I
Yeah.
got that idea from a program that used to be on was it called Backspin? Was it Snoop, when Snoop had was on the XM radio? He had the channel called Backspin. And every Friday about
Okay.
8:00, there would be a show that called Welcome to the Church House. And he would just play some music. And he was talking between playing the music about what he played. So it was simple. But his would go like, his would be like, he'll play some of his stuff too, some new stuff, and he'll play some old stuff. For me,
Right.
I wanted to go through the time frame of the early, maybe the late 60s, all the way up to the maybe early 90s or late 80s.
Yeah.
Just like some R&B stuff, R&B, soul, jazz, or whatever.
Let's talk about an era and a genre that is university.
Yeah, like playing like rare stuff, or playing, like if you want to play something that was a sample from a big song, you can just play that to,
Mhm.
just for like not
Familiarity.
just to just to give people like a background of,
Yeah,
a
know where it
background
came
of
from.
what the music is. Yeah, hear where it came from, the
Yeah,
originality of it.
that's how I got put onto a lot of the older music when I was coming up, because a lot of the hip hop that I was sampling, a lot of the older stuff, like me and my mom would be listening in the car or in the house, whatever, and I'd be liking the song. She's like, "Oh yeah, I recognize that. They got that from so and so." I'm like, "Really?" And she'll play the original song or the original group, band, or artist. I'm like, "Okay." That's why I would just go back and dig into our old cassettes and CDs and tapes and stuff. And yeah, and so that's what
But
your
it's
that show
but
was about. That's
but it's not more like when you hear Salute the Sample with L Cool J. It's not like sort of like that, because there's some songs I play that I know a history to. Like, for
mhm.
example, there's this I played Ray Parker Jr.
Yeah.
Then I played Ray Parker Jr. And then afterwards I was telling a story about how he was saying that uh Stevie him and Steve when he was playing with Stevie Wonder, because I heard a podcast from with him on it. He said he was playing for Stevie Wonder, and him and Stevie and the drummer got into a fight. But they had to blindfold the drummer to make it fair. So they
Oh,
said Steve was whipping. He said he was catching him
that was
everywhere he turned. So,
a
but yeah,
crud and a
just
crit.
stuff like that. Just
Crazy fight. They broke all kind of equipment in there. Drum set getting destroyed. Fall over mixing board.
right. But they said he was whooping on him. He was whooping on the drummer. So I mean,
Everybody's crown royal got split that.
just stuff like that. just stuff like that. Like, just nerding out on music. That's what it is.
Oh
Just
yeah,
getting
I
deep
love it.
into it. Deep in the
Yeah,
crates.
man, I feel like I got barbershop talking about music all day. Like if I got paid just do nothing but just sit around and talk about music all day, wouldn't that be a dream job career for me? And then just go into the studio and make the music we was talking about, man. Yeah,
Right. Right.
life was perfect,
That
perfect
is.
like that.
That is. But yeah, I just
Help it.
all right, yes. But see, I do that because it's in my heart. So I do that,
Yeah,
and I wanted to do that, and I've been doing that. I took a little break on it, so I'm about to fire it back up. So fire it back up and
so
put it on more platforms. It was on SoundCloud.
yeah. Well, shout out to Buzzsprout. That's where my distributor is. That's where I put my audio podcast out, and it puts it out through different mediums, different DSPs for me all at once. Just like how you got TuneCore and DistroKid and all that does distributes music that way. That's who distributes my music through every DSP you can think of. Same way. So what's the difference between that and digging into crates and artist spotlight? Are those three different shows, or are those three different subsidiaries
Oh
of
yeah.
CDP podcast? Let's break that down.
Okay, yeah, I forgot to mention the other one. So I had two segments. I had Digging in the Crates, and then the Artist Spotlight is where I just have somebody like, people I know that are doing stuff from the Dayton area or in the Dayton area. Like I had you on there. You was on one of the episodes,
Mhm.
and pretty good episode. Y'all need to check that out. And
Yeah, we broke down.
I had Cooley on there. Yeah, we did. We broke it down. Um I usually have them and just have them talk about their favorite album, like a favorite album they want to talk about, and just talk about that. And then at the end of the show or whatever, just tell the people what they're doing, and just have them promote themselves on my platform. So just that's what I do. Just everybody. I'm trying to take it to another level and get some like
Okay,
folk legends. And like I know a couple people. There's a person. There's one guy. Yeah, but I basically just been talking to some people, and I got some
good.
ideas for when I bring it back up or start the podcast back up. But yeah, just putting people out there or helping them, in any way. So
Yeah. So you that's good. That's good to do that. That's what I've been trying to do with my platform too over years. That's what it started out as, and which I feel is still going in that direction. Just I got my eyes on a lot of creatives, not just in the music field, but in different genres and of art, different fields of art and expression. A lot of entrepreneurs, and trying to shed light on them and help get their stories out there and help see if that helps inspire others to do whatever it is they're into. Um, and that's what I try to do with my platform, as well as get my stuff out there too. But try to help bring other people along with me, or if they're much further than I am, see what kind of information I can learn from them along the way, and I can pass on to others too. Just instead of being crabs in a barrel, you try to form that chain along and move together instead of climbing over top of each other. And I hope to be a part of that movement of others that's doing the same thing. And I noticed you've been collabing up with others in the genre, not just music, but in art in general, locally, and which I think is beautiful. We mentioned a few of those names earlier, like you mentioned Picket Fence before. I think you mentioned Mike Cooley, the curator, linking up with a lot of artists on the hip hop scene. Who have you been doing collabs with recently, or making some moves with recently? I know you did. What was it? Homegrown hip hop. You want to talk about homegrown hip hop? I know I started, and
Oh yeah.
it was a brief thing, but I was very excited when you first told me about that. Let's get into homegrown hip hop on wyso.org.
Homegrown hip hop. I did that for a little bit. Then I had to stop doing it for a minute. Um, but shout out to 3J to DJ for giving me that opportunity.
There
For
we
real.
go.
I'm forever grateful
Yeah,
for that. And I've always wanted to be on the radio, like do that. And as soon as he gave me that opportunity, I was real excited about it. Me and
you're
Cooley was asked to do a little segment on a hip hop show called Tables of Contents that came on 91.3 WYSO, or you could hear it on wyso.org. It was a hip hop
there. You
show
go.
that went from 8 to 11, and there was a segment we had that we would it was about, what was it, 30 minutes? Is maybe no 15. I believe it was 15 minutes. It was a 15-minute segment, I believe, and it we would interview like the local hip hop artists around here, and there I got to know some good people, some talent, man. Dayton has talent. They really do
Yes,
have
sir.
talent, man. Like all the people that I've
Yes.
interviewed, man, they're real talented. Like um, I want to shout out to some. Let me give some shout out to some people right quick.
Yeah,
I
let's
give a
do
shout
it.
out to
Yeah,
Peter MC, man. Peter MC, like he's a dope lyricist and the dope freestyler too. Like you get him
mm,
with the one is rolled what do you get? He got the filter tip. I'm pardon me if
yeah.
I'm getting it wrong. He got his filter tip with his Shirley Temple, and you go to Boom Bap and just shut that stuff down.
Let me go.
Um
Yep.
uh who else? P the Prophet, K Carter, K Cap the Don,
Hmm.
um and who else am I forgetting? Somebody else I'm forgetting. Oh, Young Reese dude. Young
Mm,
Reese dude too. So shout out
yeah.
to them. Shout out to Fun Guy and um Don Johnson also. So I just want to get all that out the way. So because
Yeah. Check it out. I've heard
yeah, they're
had a
you know
chance to
they're
listen to Cat's music too, even through the radio show, and yeah, he's got the truth. Yeah, be on the lookout for them, y'all, coming up.
um but I've got the opportunity to interview some people, and it was a blessing for that. Even though I had
Okay.
to step down, but um I
How you feel about the local hip
it
hop scene
just
out there?
I like the local hip hop scene. Dayton has talent. Dayton really has talent. It's a lot of people. Like, let me tell you something. I was sitting in a recent session that was now um Shout out to Don Johnson. Don
Hmm.
Johnson, dope DJ. And we went to his house. I went to his house one day, and it they were it was a project they were doing called Rap Camp. Had to meet
Okay.
some dope lyricists, and familiar people came there too. It's a project that they're doing called Rap Camp, and it should be out pretty soon. They got the first single out. It's on all platforms, but it's dope.
Okay.
It's real dope, and it's just it just lets you know that DYT hip hop is still alive. You know,
Yeah.
if you can't find in the mainstream artists, if you can't find any good hip hop in, just look into your local. You will find it. You will really
Definitely.
find it.
Yeah, man. Dayton,
So
Ohio is very. We all know. Not we all know, but a lot of us from there and people around there knows that Dayton, Ohio is very rich in musical history. You know, birthplace of funk and all that. And it's just those roots just go deep and they just stay growing throughout the years and generations. And it's still there, and it
right.
had embedded itself a lot in hip hop, which is being represented today. And the funk is still alive, just in general. So you have a lot of artists, a lot of songs and music has a lot to thank Dayton's funk roots for creating. Not just from the Lakesides to the Zabs to it just goes
Let
on
me
forever.
shout out to Cooley the Curator, because I had to get that
So,
story straight. He asked me, 3J the DJ asked me and Cooley the Curator to do it. So
okay.
but it was a blessing, and it was not, it wasn't like, and I was like, okay, well that was, I guess, because he heard. I'm sorry, I'm
Hmm.
leaving stuff out. 3J the DJ heard an episode of me and Cooley the Curator on an artist
Okay.
spotlight, and we was talking about Cosmic Slop, a funkadelic
Gotcha.
album that he loves. So when we talked about that, then he called us and had, hey, can we meet? Let's meet. And we met up, and he was talking about, hey, I want y'all to do a segment, doing a local hip hop and all that. And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, let's do this. So we did it, and it was. I mean, he had great. He had like a great. He was connected to some good people too, some good lyricists.
Okay.
And shout out to I'm trying to think of his name. I'm sorry if I don't. An excellent beat maker, Clint Taylor. Clint Taylor.
Okay. Nice.
That's
Shout out to
he's
Clint Taylor,
dope,
man.
dope. He's a DYT producer, so artist from
Okay.
Dayton, producer from the Dayton area, but he's dope though.
Something to be said about what gets created from organic connections that get made through music and just being from a place where you have a lot of down to earth people working together or working towards a common goal, who have a common interest in mind, and come from humble beginnings, come from a blue collar environment, you come from a place where the history is so rich that you're engulfed in it all the time. So you meeting up and being around a lot of people with a similar mindset. A lot of great music comes from that. A lot of great creative projects come from that. And you get some
Right.
good relationships, good strong bonds that come from that you can't really be duplicated anywhere else. That's one thing I love about my hometown. Even when I come back there and visit so often, I just feel that when I get off the plane. I feel that when I'm in local restaurants and local bars. When I meet up with you, I meet with people that you've known, people that I've known. Like that's how I ended up meeting Mike Cooley through you. We went out to a spot where he DJs at the Barrel House, and I ended up meeting him. This is just a cool dude. And I was listening to Homegrown Hip Hop one time. I think it was the first or second episode that I actually listened to. They had K-Cop the Don on there. Heard some of his music, like, damn, this dude is killing it. This is nice. And I was like, so I went and listened to a video that I think the video you showed me, or video that I found on YouTube, the West Side. I'm like, oh, dude, this is cold. Hit him up, start talking to him like, yo, we want to do some music or something together. Because I'm feeling that, feeling the vibe, and we ended up doing a song my last week. We got something working on now, and so it's like, doesn't happen anywhere all the time. And
Let me
Yeah,
tell
what
you
was you
something
saying?
about that. Let me tell you something. I just want to say every time I go from either 75 south or north, and you get on that 35 west, and you go up right past where we said that speed bump used to be on 35.
On the highway,
I don't
speed
know if
bump
it
on
was
the
a
highway.
speed bump. Yeah, like it was a bump, but it wasn't an actual speed bump. But I that's how I joke. That's how we joke, though. That's another thing we joke.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just like, why the heck you put a bump on the middle of the highway? But
I
anyway,
couldn't
when you
stop
go up
seeing the
there,
sky.
like when you get there and you can see all them buildings, on the west side and all that, make me think about one time for the west side.
Yeah, and the videos at West Towns like bring back memories. Like, oh, from when I was a kid, I'm like,
Right.
West Town. Like, so I mean, we shot a few music videos back home too, and we shot like 3, I think. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Well, 4 if you count body work, but not really because I was just a set in my cousin's house. So we shot like 3 music videos back home, but still, it's definitely like seeing other people's music videos from back home because you see it like, yeah, they got that. Yeah, okay. I mean, you can't really tell it's home because it's just a black screen in my cousin's house. But the other 3 videos, you shot on locations down, like you shot downtown and other locations, shot in the car, shot around different areas. So those other 3 videos, you can definitely tell it was that home in Trotwood and Dayton, Ohio, because it was on locations. And those are fun. Those are great. I love them. Take great pride in them. But it's nothing like the feeling of when you see other artists shooting music videos in your hometown. You're like, yeah, I know that spot. I know that spot where they had the same vision. They had that vision to use that location and do it. And what they're saying in those songs, it's like it hits you a certain way. So I must have watched that West Side video 17,000 times. And he did a video for the song Trash 2.0. I'm like, so when I interviewed him, when I interviewed him on episode 30 with him and Mike Cooley, he was telling me a story behind that video. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I was loving that shit. So yeah, it's dope, man. I love it. I'm looking forward. I'm always looking for. Yep, I'm always looking for other artists from Dayton, Ohio, or Trotwood, seeing if they're putting out videos and stuff because it just makes me feel good seeing local talent do their thing in a major way, whether they're just starting out or they've been around for a while. I love it. It makes me want to go back and try to find some more of their stuff. And whether I'm a fan of that, whatever style any artist is doing or not, just seeing the local artists doing it, whether it's somebody our age or somebody brand new, it's dope because we're not from a town that's majorly known like some of the big cities like Chicago, LA, Miami, Atlanta, places like that. We're from, say in the middle of the map, Midwest, Dayton, Trotwood, Ohio, southern tip of Ohio. And you hear of artists like, big artists like Bowen and everything from Cleveland and whatnot. My favorite rap group, you got Ray Cash, you got some other artists, MGK from Cleveland. But you look for artists from smaller cities like Dayton, Trotwood, Centerville, Miamisburg, stuff like that. That's what gets you excited because it's like a small knit group of people. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Yeah. Whether you're dope or not, I'm a fan of the fact that you're actually putting out something, you're taking it seriously, you're really trying. I mean, there's artists out there, yeah, maybe a few cats out there from my hometown that put out some bullshit, not really doing good. But somebody who's actually taking it seriously, I fucks with you. That's what I'm about. You've stepped into another lane in your career, in your life, in your musical journey, in the wheels of steel, man. What got you started doing that, and how long you been doing that? Air sign. What are you trying to do? Change your background?
Yeah, I'm trying to change the background real quick.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna talk briefly about I was segueing into your DJing air sign phase of musical journey, but while you're figuring that out, I'm gonna put a brief plug in here to pretty soon, within probably about 3 to 4 months, my new album gonna be coming out. Student of Experience. I got a couple of features on there, a couple that you might be very, very excited about, anybody who's listening. But I've been working slowly on this album. Didn't think I was going to put out a new album for a while. It's been a while since my last actual full-length LP, but this is something that I just had to get off of my heart. I'm going to talk more about it later on in another post. I just wanted to say that real quick, just get that out there because it's in my brain. But because I got a lot I could talk about for hours on that, but I won't. This isn't my spot to do that. This is the spotlight that I'm putting on the Gemini right now, which we briefly will get into soon real quick because we won't have a whole lot of time left, but I will get into the 99 EP that we put out how many years ago was that? It was 2 or 3 years ago. We did some music videos for that.
2020, early 2020.
Yeah, 2020. But if you're not done working on that background, let's get into your DJing real quick though. So I really want to focus a lot on that during this episode at some point before we get out of here.
I will. I'll get into it.
Yeah,
I do
DJ
have a logo
Airsign.
too. I was gonna try to throw my logo up there, but DJ Airsign. Okay, now I'm gonna give these shout out to these people. I'm gonna shout out to DJ Ron Perry, the OG, Cooley the Curator, and 3J the DJ. So basically, them three are basically my people that have either been they didn't have to, but they did. They give me guidelines and whatever, and I would usually go to DJ Ron Perry, his gigs at it was a table 313 he used to DJ at, and it'd be Friday night, and he's a legend. He DJ'd all like he DJ'd like he DJ'd I said DJ'd. Shame on me, man.
DJ'd. Shane is Earl Stevens already.
but yeah, I've he's been like across the country DJing, but he's very humble. And so I met him at a Barrel House one time at Funky Friday when Cooley the Curator was DJing there. And he was saying like, yeah, I got all this, I got all that, I got all this. He's got a whole bunch of records and stuff. So he's like, man, you should come to table 313 sometime. So I came. He's like, yeah, he would talk to me while he's DJing too, and he'd be like, he's like, it's good. He's like, you don't have to be a DJ that scratches or whatever. He's like, I don't have to scratch. And this guy, he could rock parties, man. Like, not only like funk, but Afro. Was it Afro?
Afrobeats.
Was it called Afro Soul or Afro Beats, Afro Soul, whatever? House music. He could do it all, man. That he's the OG. He's like one of the OGs. So he gave me some tips and stuff, and I said I might, because I had a controller.
Yeah,
I did have a controller. It was just sitting. I was, testing it out, and he was, he give me guidelines. It's like when you get into something, you don't just jump into it. You got to sit there and learn it. A good person, a person will learn it. Some people jump into it. Maybe you might do that. I don't know. Some people do that, and if you can learn, that's your thing. But usually, you should learn it sitting down and watching. You watch the greats, or take in like a sponge all that people offer you.
Yeah, take your time and study it.
Once they offer you, right, study it, and then once you think you're ready to do it, then so him, 3J the DJ was a good. Me and him will have long. We can he's another person I can talk because he's like the hip hop, the hip hop basically almost the hip hop encyclopedia. I mean, you go to him for resources or whatever, like anything. I could hardly like there's not hardly anything that he can't answer about hip hop. So
there you go.
That's what I want to say. So, but so far, what I've asked him about or discussed with him about, he has a very good knowledge about it. So and he's an older cat. So but we would talk to him, and I would talk to him, and be long talks about hip hop. So he was good to talk to, and cool to curate. What I'm saying? I would go see him at Funky Fridays and any other gigs and stuff, and just sit there and clown with them and talk with them a little bit. You can't talk much to the DJs because they're doing stuff. So
right,
but he would say a little bit here, a little bit there, but it's like you play what you want to play.
There you go.
That's like you play what you want to play, and
right.
I know you want to move the crowd. That's the little struggle for me, but play what you want to play. So
it's finding that balance. It's finding that balance. Yeah, that's the balance I had to deal with a lot when I used to DJ. The balance between playing what you want to play and playing what you know the crowd will move to. You got to find that even so you still have fun and also have them have fun too. And sometimes it works out beautifully. It just it depends on how you feel, how you read the room and the vibe of that night. And if they respect you too,
Well,
because you control the party.
it is, but and you have to be knowledgeable about how strong a song is. Like, let's say,
There it is.
have a go-to song, have a go-to song or whatever. Like, let's say,
Mhm.
what? Okay, let's say, let me think about. Let me say it like this: you're at a family reunion. There's
Right.
going to be some go-to songs that you could play that's going to give everybody up. Just like what's an example? I'm gonna say "Candy" by Cameo. Everybody and
Yeah.
mommy gonna get up for that. You know that. So
Before I let
the
go, my
little kids and all
maze in
that.
them.
So that, oh yeah. Because all them Mays and Frankie Beverly, that's cookout family reunion music.
Yeah.
I'll be
I
ready
thought about
to
something.
barbecue something.
Yeah. I just thought about something.
What do you think? We'll go ahead and say it.
That's the way I told you in high school and in class was I think it was like somebody played candy or something and Trevon got up and started dancing. I forgot how I told you how that story happened. What was it?
I
It
think it
was
was
Cameo.
Candy. It's just everybody just started dancing in class. Yeah. But yeah,
Yes,
just
you have those
have the
pocket
go-to
ready to go.
songs.
Yep, and know
Right.
when to throw them on too, and when to go to it in case you got a set going and people ain't really feeling it. Okay, throw my go to it. When to mix it in, when to fade it in, and then go back to what you're doing. It's like yeah, it's a science to it. It's definitely a science, a timing science, a mental science with the crowd. Yep, really is. You still got that gig going at Nimbus Cafe? You want to talk about the Nimbus
Oh yeah,
Cafe?
yeah. So later on in my after I've learned did like a sponge and absorb whatever people gave me, these people gave me, then I was ready to do it, and the opportunity came when I was sitting at Nimbus Comic Cafe in Trotwood. Shout out to Eddie Blake, aka
Yeah.
Rob Dejanay, Eddie Blake. I'm sitting there on a Thursday night. It was comedy night, and they had a mic and I guess a speaker and all that. So, and there was all this space, and then I kept observing, and I seen a outlet. There was 2 outlets back there. So I came to him and said, how would you like if I DJ? And he said, now like I'm young and I'm very humble. I'm humble for this. So I'm like, I just wanted to play.
Yeah.
So basically, I said, how would you like to how do you want to DJ? He was like, I can't. He's like, I can't pay you like that. I said, do you want a DJ? I didn't ask you if you could pay me. I was just like, you want a DJ? And he said, yeah, cool. I said, well, give me what is that, 2 weeks? Yes. So once I got 2 weeks, I got my laptop together. I got my I got my turntables and stuff, or I got my DJ controller, as you would say, and then I got the case. Like I just had got a DJ case, but
Right.
backtrack to that. Before that, the first gig I did, the first DJ I did, I DJ'd for at least 5 hours, 5 or 6 hours. It was at a Halloween party outside. I handled it good,
It's a
and
full
it was a diverse crowd. So I had little kids, older, all race. So it was just it was cool. So once that happened, then I waited for the opportunity to ask Eddie to do that, and I did that. And I was doing that for, I think it was a year ago when I started, and I stopped. I stopped back in October because of the job, but there will be something that will be happening. I don't want to speak on it right now. I want to speak on it when it's very official.
Okay.
So it's official.
Everybody should offer that.
I will announce it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm glad. I'm glad to do it though. I'm glad to. I'm glad it's
I'm excited.
it's
I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you. When you first told me about you as DJing about that, I was pretty dope. I was pretty hyped. And like I've been seeing clips you've been posting on your stories about the nights you've been DJing and stuff. And happy to see you doing that. And happy to see you still getting back on those boards, man. On the production side, I know you're taking a little bit of break, but I know you still been working though, because I remember last time I was in Ohio, or last time I've seen, not last time I was in Ohio, a couple of visits ago, I stopped by your house and you showed me hundreds of beats you had lined up. So I mean, you got just a library of just stuff waiting to put out at your choosing. Some of those I've never played one of the beats recently. I don't know, I think it was Boom Bap and Belmont. You played a beat that you had as the beat to the Prism Flow sort of freestyle cipher song we had on the Double Nine EP. It also had featured our boy Griff, who we spoke about earlier. He had this character on that. Did you have a name for that character? It's like an old man character you had on that song. It's like an interlude before the song. And then,
what was his name? Was that Cleophas or something? I think his name was Cleophas.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it's just somebody I created because the skit was kind of like I heard a skit off of Slum Village. It was similar to that, but it wasn't really similar. It was just some of the elements that I heard from there. I used it on there, and then there's other skits though. But it's just something I had in mind to do. But it was.
I thought it was funny. What made me laugh about it was I was picturing multiple things hearing it. I was picturing the dude from Snoop's was it the Gin and Juice video? The dude that played his dad that kicked everybody out the house. I was picturing him
rest
in peace to him. Picturing that mixed with like the skit from
Ricky Harris.
Yeah. I was picturing him mixed with Rest in peace, Ricky Harris, man. I was picturing him mixed with the skit from the Conscious Daughters album. They had an all-star freestyle at the end of the album, and they had this lady come in. She was like talking shit to everybody in the house. Everybody was in there being lazy. They wasn't recording the music, so she came in there talking shit to them. I picture that mixed with the visual of that guy, of him, Ricky Harris, and mixed with like what you said in the skit, like me and Griff was in the house, and you was in the house, like messing up everything and trying to record, but was being lazy, just doing stuff. Picturing all that in the head, and it made me laugh, made me think about it. But yeah, that was a fun thing to do, man.
Let's not forget about John Witherspoon.
Oh yeah,
John Witherspoon. I had it.
Yeah, John Witherspoon. Rest in peace, man. One of the goats. That whole
that was too that made me do that. Like,
yeah, one of our favorites, man. That whole EP was a fun experience too. And yeah, we've been in talks to do some more, do another EP, do a volume 2, because we got bucket loads of music we can do between us. We collaborated on a bunch of songs on my albums in the past, but that whole EP we did. My favorite song in there was Orbit. You know, he said it was inspired by the skating rink. Is that what he said? The name of the song and everything, and the vibe is like that funk, upbeat, skate and flow type beat. So that's my favorite song on there. We did a music video for 2 other songs on that album. You know, we did the Double Nine and what was it? Not How We Do. What's the name of that damn song?
Who We Be?
Who We Be? Yeah, I keep saying How We Do. Who We Be? Yeah, we filmed that downtown. Both those downtown Dayton and Oregon District. Shout out to my wife Abby. She helped with the filming of both of those music videos, and it had a lot of fun, man. And the songs, of course, he's in Ohio. I'm here in Colorado now, so we had to do it. There's a lot of emailing verses back and forth. But if we had it our way, we'd both be locked in the studio in person together, doing all those songs together, because we both come from a school where that's how songs got done. You know, songs got done. Right. He was in the studio collaborating on the spot, and it wasn't just emailing stuff back and forth to each other like how everybody does now. I mean, of course, people still do in studio stuff all day, which is great. But you know, as you get older, life takes you in different directions, and you're doing different things. Maybe you're living in different places, or maybe your schedules get super busy. Working on stuff in real time all the time, like you would like to. But hey, you figure it out and you get it done. How you get it done, and hopefully, you're both knowledgeable in music production and engineering, where you can make it sound like you're in the studio together. So that's where I feel like both of us are fortunate to do. We know enough about that to where even if we don't have big studios, we have enough equipment and knowledge to make that happen. So yeah, we got some stuff coming out pretty soon that I'm working on. I'm sure he's working on something else that I want y'all to be on the lookout for. Well, anything you want to leave the people with as far as any other knowledge or stories you want to drop before we sign off here pretty soon? I know we can talk for next 17, 50, 11 hours if we wanted to, but unfortunately, things don't work out that way. We have to break it up into maybe 4.
Compacted in one time frame.
Exactly. I got a few other people that I've done podcasts with recently in the past couple of years that we're going to do part 2s and part 3s for, because we have a lot of stories that we left out that we didn't get to. So yeah, this can go on forever, man. I mean, Infinite Ambition podcast episode 667 on the horizon. You know what I mean? So what else you want to leave them with real quick?
There's been, I'm going to do a DJ gig. So it's like I said, I couldn't get the details, but anything, I'm still doing the production and still doing a little production here and still doing the podcast. So the podcast is about to be starting back up soon too, also.
Cool.
And I did a couple. I know I did. There was another. Should I say it? I know I did a little I didn't do a project, but I'm here like going to do beats for some people and surrounding, people I know or people. Because I distribute some gave some beats out to them and see how they like it. So I'm not gonna say who or whatever yet, because I don't want to.
Yeah. Like, keep that in the racks this time.
I'm still active though in doing that.
Good.
So
yeah,
make beats and the podcast. So it should be up and running here pretty soon and on more platforms. So
dope. Well, we're going to definitely get to another episode. We're going to do another episode together. We're going to get into other things that we didn't get into this time. This episode, half of this one I feel like was more of a reminder of who you are to people who may not have known you before or who have but haven't heard from you in a while, and get into some recent stuff. Next time we're going to talk more into like more personal stuff, more details as far as like music production and how we make music, more into like pop culture stuff, more into things of in the media and our future outlook on things. So that's what would be on the next time we link up and do an episode. I know we talk all the time, just personal stuff on the phone, damn near every other day, but as far as like publicly on platforms like this, those are things we're going to get into next time. So yeah, it was dope, man. Thank you for taking your time to sit down with me over this. And this is the first episode like this of the Infinite Ambition podcast that I've been able to do. First of many. It's just going to get better and better. The video quality, the video way we're streaming, and I'm gonna get into some episodes with some people here locally that I spoke to, but they'll be in person. I gotta clean my studio up a little bit, but yeah, we'll get into that. And thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. Shout out to the City of Gym podcast. Shout out to Digging in the Creation Artist Spotlight. Big shout out to WYSO.org, homegrown hip hop. I'm dating hip hop and just hip hop around the world. This has been an Infinite Ambition podcast, man. I want to drop your socials real quick and how they can reach you.
Yeah. City of Gym podcast on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
So
cool. Well, you got all the socials will be in the links down below. Y'all know you can find all my socials, all the links down below, everything. It says it's been an Infinite Ambition podcast. Recognize your limitless worth, man. Peace.
Kharismind Production. Infinite Ambition.